recording everything that we say, and I'm going to show you some video clips for you to compare, so I can illustrate what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to record this anyway because it'll obviously get the clips and the various bits and bobs that I talk about. Okay. So, what do you think is the main thing that you need to work on in your stroke? Do you think?
I think I probably don't pull back enough. My stroke, my pull's a bit short, and I think after I breathe, I like pull out rather than back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And do the coaches that you've worked with, recently and through the clubs, have they picked you up on?
No, they don't give me any feedback whatsoever. Like.
No? So how do swimmers improve then?
I don't know. I don't know how they're all so good. I think it's because they have done it from like a young age and they've come through the performance squads, whereas I seem to be the only one that hasn't had that so much. Although I've always swam, I'm not to that level, so I'm not quite sure how they're all so good, but I have thought that myself.
I do sometimes think that. I think
it's frustrating.
I think sometimes the swim clubs, it's almost more by luck than judgment that they just filter out the ones that happen to end up with a good technique, and the other ones fall by the wayside. So rather than developing good technique, they might do a bit of tuning.
And also, some people are naturally better anyway. Just
that's what I mean. So the cream kind of get through and succeed, and everyone else kind of. And it makes me wonder how many really good swimmers don't get through. If they had a little bit of help along the way, how good they could become. Right, I'm just going to download that footage onto.
Because I actually moved from my previous club to this club for that reason, but I'm actually now thinking, like, probably my other one was slightly better because I don't think I've received any feedback since I started, which was May last year.
Right, okay. You've got a lot of good things about your stroke. Your body position is really good, and we'll have a look at that in a second. You're kicking quite hard, but as a kind of a long-term, I deal with a lot of triathletes. As opposed to swimmers, pure swimmers. Yeah. Do you do? Is it just swimming that you do?
Yeah, just swim. Yeah.
We deal with the kick a little bit differently because the kick is quite important for endurance athletes, endurance swimmers, and for triathletes particularly. So, but your kick is pretty strong. So, the first thing I noticed when I saw your stroke, and which surprised me actually, which is why I asked you about the kind of feedback that you get, is there's some quite obvious errors at the front of your stroke, which are quite simple to fix, and it amazes me that you haven't been given that feedback. And the main one really is you just not. Let's just see where we are with this video. Sure. There we go, started at the wrong end. Let's make sure we've got the right one.
I found that when I do just kick sets or just pull, I'm like kind of not so slow, and then it's just when I'm actually full swim that I really fall behind everyone else. But when we do kick or pull, I'm actually not that far off everyone else. Yeah. So I don't know whether it's some coordination thing, but I've found that.
Well, the bulk of your propulsion as a front crawl swimmer, the bulk of your propulsion should be coming from the front end of your stroke. Yeah. And when I say the bulk, I'm talking 95% should be coming from the front end of the stroke. What I suspect is happening with you is you're getting pushed a little bit too much from the back. So as soon as you get told to put a pull buoy in, or you put bands on your legs, and you're just front end, then you'll lose that. So that's why I could see you start to drop off if you're just doing front end type swimming. So let's just get this going. Now, we're used to using this on, they're not used to using it on here. Take you right back to the start. Okay, all right, so push off from the wall, and what I'm looking for first of all really is the type of recovery that you have, first of all. Now, as a kind of a pool swimmer, a classic pool swimmer, you've got a high elbow there. The arm swings through at about the right point. So what we look for is that the highest point of the elbow is when the hand kind of swings through almost like a pendulum underneath. and it isn't kind of hand-led around the side. So that's nice. The lead arm, kind of what we call the support arm, is out front at the time the other arm is recovering. So the left arm recovers over the top of the water. Now, I can see what you kind of, it's almost like you're trying to spear in. I can see you dipping the fingertips at the wrist, and you can just see it there. As you extend the left arm forward, you dip the fingertips there, the hand spears in, and then what happens there is the hand comes up. See, it reaches the surface of the water.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're spearing in, and then the hand is coming up like this, and effectively putting the brakes on at the front of the stroke. So we'll play that through so you can see a little bit more detail. I will send you this, and what I'll do is I'll do a recorded analysis over the top of this, which I'll send you tomorrow. Okay. I know this is a bit clunky the way I'm doing it at the moment, but
that's fine.
And then on the right hand side, almost a little bit overextending. So you see how your upper arm is coming in before your hand. So your upper arm hits the water, then your forearm comes in, and then the hands comes in together. So it's almost coming in quite flat.
Yeah.
And then what you can see on the right side particularly is, look at that hand. So it's what we call having a high hand. A high hand or a dropped elbow is one of the different ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
So what we want to be doing, and I'll show you some footage on here in a second, is spearing in deeper. And also what's happening is that hand is just sitting there at the front, just hanging there. Sitting. When's it going to start taking a catch? And then it just starts to take hold of the water underneath there. So it's pausing too long at the front of the stroke. And actually you're kind of swimming with a high elbow, but when you get to that point, you're actually really opening up the arm. If I show you what I mean. So if we go to this animation here. So this is like a classic smooth stroke, okay? Classic kind of pool stroke, if you like. So if we have a look from head on, pause it. So let's have a look at the right arm here. So see the high elbow, which is what I was talking about with you?
Yeah.
Now, what he's doing here is he's swinging the hand underneath the elbow, okay? And this is why they get you to do fingertip drills and zipper drills and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To do that in the squad?
Yeah, sometimes.
How do you find those?
Yeah, okay. We normally do them as catch-up though, which annoys me because that's the opposite of what I need to do.
Well, catch-up could cause what you've got there.
Yeah.
Because catch-up, very often people will have a tendency to come up the front of the stroke.
Yeah.
Rather than you want to be coming down and deeper into the water. So if you look at so you're kind of in between this guy who's a smooth type stroke with a high elbow, and if we have a look from the side here, he spears in, above actually, spears in more or less in front of the shoulder into the water. But if you look at the depth his hand goes to, so he extends forwards, look how deep his hand is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just play that through there. So he's probably 10 to 12 inches underneath the water when he starts the catch.
Yeah.
What your hand is doing is it's coming in and it's skimming up to the top.
Yeah.
Coming back up again. And then what happens then is you've got to get from this position, you can't catch the water from that position, you've got to get somehow from there to there to actually start getting hold of some water. And that's where your dead spot is in your stroke. So all that element there, and then it sits there and then comes down, is effectively a dead spot in the stroke, which we need to eliminate because you lose momentum at that point.
Yeah.
Because the other hand will have finished the catch, will have finished the pull through on the other side, and will be recovering out the water at that point.
Yeah.
But you're also, interestingly, a little bit more of a swinging type of stroke. So you're kind of in between, and this is what I was trying to explain to you, is at the highest point of the elbow, you're a little bit like this guy. Let's do it on the right side. Oops, go back.
Yeah.
You're a little bit like that. But once you go past that point, you don't spear in straight in front of the shoulder and go to depth. What you do is you actually have a look from above. Is you actually start to open up the shoulder and swing quite wide. The final phase of the recovery here. So you kind of come up and then round the side rather than coming up like a pendulum and then spearing in straight. You with me so far?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So there's the high elbow, but your hand is much wider out and it's swinging. See how straight it is? It's swinging right round the outside there.
So his is closer to his body?
So his is closer to his body.
Oh, and I'm kind of doing it more like that.
And you're coming around the side more. So more of a swinger type of stroke. Now, I think you should go with this type of stroke. I think you should relax and just let your arms, because what we often get is a lot of natural swinging type of stroke, not natural swingers we call them. They've been told to stay all tight like this. In actual fact, and Corin's one of these swingers. In actual fact, you want to loosen. Everyone moves differently. Yeah. Like Jake there. You know, people might call that windmilling or whatever you want to call it. But it works well for him. Yeah. And it's a good way of getting more rhythm to your stroke. So if we go back to you again here. So over the top there. And this is where what we need to get you to do is to spear in shorter. So you're going to be coming in. You're going to be coming in down that kind of direction.
Not so far out.
So up and over, and then in deep, in deeper. So we're going to be shortening up your stroke, which means your turnover is going to go up.
Yeah.
It's going to make quite a big difference because not only are we shortening your stroke, but you're going to take the dead spot out the front as well, which is going to make it even quicker. So it's going to be quite a change for you, but I think you'd be interested to see how you handle it. So the hand would come into the water.
So I need to bend my elbow slightly more.
Exactly, yeah. So more like this animation here. So let's wait for play on this side. Oops, jumped there. So around the side and then in deep. In deep, and there's hardly any pause at the front, and then the hand engages and starts the catch at the front of the stroke. We'll play that full speed. I mean, you look at the depth of that compared to where you're coming in, you'd be up here with the hand up. So the turnover goes up a lot. So your turnover, your stroke rate there was maybe 60. It might go up to 75 or something like that. Because it's quite a big difference. And effectively, your speed is going to come from improving the technique, improving the quality of the catch, the front of the stroke, and the stroke rate going up. Combination of those two things.
I've noticed that if I've watched a video of me racing, my arms seem to be moving slower than other people's.
Yeah, and that's that dead spot. That's that dead spot at the front. And it's probably, we measure it sometimes, and it can be half a second each stroke. Where there's nothing happening, and it's quite exciting because you think, Christ, if I can take that out, you know, and it really does make a difference. But it can be quite a challenge to snap out of that, especially if you've been doing it for a long time. But you're young and you swim a lot, so it shouldn't be a problem. Now the left arm. So let's start with the left arm here. So the left arm is simply just needs to come in deeper. So you're literally going to swing around as you are, but you're going to really focus on coming in 12 inches underneath the surface, and then you're ready to come straight into a catch. The right arm The right arm is overextending, and this is the one that goes really flat, and the arm comes in before the hand does. So it's looking like you almost need to rotate a little bit more on that side. It's on the right side, and the rotation is what gives you the height to come up and over, and then yes, yeah. So we'll do this in a combination of stages. So I think first of all, I'm going to get you to just simply swim, but just think about rotating a bit more. That's all, okay? And that will naturally give you a bit more height on the recovery. If you've got more height, you can come in at a different angle. If you don't rotate much, you come around flat. Height, rotate more, you're coming from this way down. So just think about rotating first of all, a little bit more. And then I'm going to get you to just think about opening up, relaxing, opening up the chest. We call it spreading your wings a bit. And just getting a bit more swing style. And I'll show you some clips here so you can see what it looks like. And it's not just, so you might not have heard of Janet Evans, but Janet Evans was a fantastic swimmer back in the 80s, American, and she was just multi-Olympic champion. And she had a swinging type stroke before anyone had even heard of it. You see how straight her arms are? So much more kind of like Jane with the straighter arms, but going about 10 times faster. So strokes don't all have to look the same. You know, a lot of swimmers will see classic pool swimmers and think they have to have this long, beautiful, smooth stroke. I don't think that's the way you should swim. I think you should open it up a little bit more and take a little bit more of a leap out of this. I mean, she's quite extreme. She's looking ahead a lot and all sorts. Yeah. But it works for her.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, this is 500 metres in 5 minutes. It's ridiculous. And again, if I show you another example so you can visualise it.
I think why I rotate more to my left than my right is because I always breathe to my left, but I've been trying to work on breathing every 3. So I was breathing every 3 then, but I don't like doing that. I still need to work on it.
Yeah. And
I normally breathe every
common.
2. I mean, since I came to the Swim Smooth clinic actually, so since then I've been trying to do it. But
you still don't like breathing on the right?
No.
Yeah, okay. I'm quite surprised actually, because you've been swimming for such a long time. That's normally kind of club swimmers and people who have been swimming with clubs and squads and things for donkey's years. They naturally all breathe on both sides. Yeah. Did you swim as a kid?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So did you go through all the?
Well, basically, I swam competitively to quite a high level until I was 12. Yeah. But then I had like a 4-year break at that quite crucial stage, really, from about 12 to 16, and then I restarted again.
Did you not breathe bilaterally before you were 12 then?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
I've only noticed it probably when I came to that Swim Smooth clinic last year, actually, and I think you must have said, and I've been trying to work on it. It's really, really weird at first, and then I have got a bit better at it, but I still don't. I have to force myself to do it.
Yeah. See, some people I say, it depends what they're trying to achieve. Some people I say to them, breathe every 2. Just stay with breathing every 2, or maybe every 4 if you're going a bit kind of longer and a bit steadier. But for someone like yourself, I think breathing every 3 will really help you. I think it'll balance up your stroke. Some people don't need if they're training for a specific event, maybe an open water race or something like that, breathing every 2 will get them through it, fine. Yeah. Because it's a real battle for some people to breathe on the other side if they're not used to it. It's a real struggle, and people give up. So I'm just going to show you Sally, who's an age group swinging type of stroke. And you can see it's more rhythm and balance, it's tempo. It's not particularly pretty to look at, but you can swim like that all day long. It looks more energetic, but actually it's not much of a thing. So it's all very much front end driven. But very much swimming around the outside, straight into a deep patch and a thick patch of front stroke. There's virtually no pause there. How tall are you? reason I say that is because this type of swimming generally suits. Again, Corin's pretty. Corin's about 5'3" and thereabouts as well.
Yeah.
Generally suits a slightly shorter person because you haven't got the length and the range to get the long strokes. Yeah. So you're relying on turnover more. So it's even more important that you take those dead spots out. So let's go back to this and see what else we can see in here. That's by far the main part for you, because a lot of the rest of your stroke, we play it on full slow motion. So you're kicking fairly hard there. Wait till we go on the way back now. So your body position's good, your bum's on the surface there, your head position's nice and low, your alignment is good in your body. It's really just that front end. And I'm sure if we get that sorted out, you'll feel completely different. Just see if we can find anything else worth. Just wait till we go past the steps again. Oh blimey, the thing's in the way. I'm going to go underneath the water here as well. Just see if we see anything there. Yeah, so that's that right arm overextending. Fingertips are really wide apart. See how your hand's coming in? Yeah. So you're going to be losing traction there because you're letting water go between the fingers. The fingers should just be loosely apart. And there you can see the hand coming up. The thumb is still catching the surface there. That's how high it is. And then the other arm coming around. See, that's slicing a little bit sideways. I don't mind that, but I think if it comes in a bit deeper, see, it's catching a lot of water on the surface there, pushing the water in sideways. It's not too much of a problem, but I think a lot of that will be wiped out if you come in a bit deeper. You're just kind of skimming across the surface almost at the start, rather than coming in deeper, cutting down straight to the depth you need to start the catch at.
Yeah.
Go into the water and see what you can see underneath the water. There, you can see it really clearly there on the right side, look. So the hand comes up. See, it comes right up. And effectively you're putting the brakes on there. Did you know you did that?
You told me last year that I did that.
Right, okay, good.
I think you said I was an overglider.
Yeah.
And then, so like I did try and work on it a bit, but I think that's why, because I know you said that I got my hand tipped down to start with, but then I do that, so maybe I've kind of done that bit, but I'm still going up after.
Yeah.
So I've tried.
Yeah. And that is the one shot that you need to see, because that's what we need to get away from. That hand needs to be coming like that, and then down like that, and then the hand at the bottom there.
Yeah.
So a completely different, like the opposite to what you're doing that way.
Yeah.
Because of course, if you're like that with your hand, with your hands up, you can't just go straight down from there because your elbow is pointing downwards. You can't bend your elbow. You can't bend your elbow that way. So that elbow needs to be out. Yeah. And that's how you can get into the catch. So you just think about swimming with your elbows outwards rather than down. And then if your elbows are out, then that's it. Your elbows are, then you can quite easily press down. The good way to think about it is if you're think about swimming on your side, then you should be able to touch your hips. It sounds obvious, but if you're like this out front with the arms straight, you can't touch your hips because your elbow doesn't bend that way. You've got to be rotating out.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Then you can touch the hips. So we need those hands to come around the side, elbows out, around the side, in here to this depth, and then into the catch. So if we use this here, that's the water level here. We're swimming around the side, and it's coming in here.
Yeah.
To this depth. Then as you rotate, you start to catch straight away. In, catch. Rather than in. Whatever it is you do.
Wave it around.
Alright.
It's going to feel really deep.
Right, let's just see if there's anything else in here, and then. But I think, to be honest, that's the only really thing. That we're going to be able to see from this. Clear that. And there's that pause, look, just sits there. It's interesting, actually. See what's happening here with your right hand. So your right hand there, you're starting to catch. There's a bit catch up there as well. Like you see, you catch up. Both your hands are at the front.
Yeah.
I think the changes we're going to make are naturally going to make that disappear. Your hand is kind of almost scooping a little bit. This one here.
Oh yeah.
Look.
That's weird.
All right. So rather than coming in, and you want to think about place the hand in, press it straight down, and then push back. Place, press, push. Place, press, push. Yours is kind of coming in and then kind of scooping back this way. Let's have a look on this other side. It's going to disappear off the bottom of the footage now. Let's see if we get you on the way back up. It might be on the next clip. Like your dolphin kicks, good. There's the high hand, so you're naturally doing that. Yeah, okay, so let's have a look at it on the next clip. This one. That's the same one, isn't it? This one, is it this one? Let's wait until we come back. Oh, this is where I was looking from above. So you're breathing right there. That's the side you don't like breathing to, is it the right you said?
Yeah.
Looks like you're trying to give yourself extra clearance. Because you're not used to breathing that far, so you're almost exaggerating the rotation at that point. Look, so you're almost completely on your side there.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about that, to be honest. There's your big wide hand. Hand coming up. And what I'm looking for really is the alignment at the moment. So having a nice straight line down through your arms, through your legs, and it's actually pretty good. Not too concerned about that. And there's the problem, the hand sitting there again. So we're just pretty much seeing the same thing from different angles, really.
I only seem to open my right fingers, but not so much my left.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and what I'm looking at there, look, you can't really see it because this stupid rolly thing is at the bottom there, but see that hand is just kind of, you kind of cupped your hand underneath the water, you can just see it there curving round.
Yeah.
And then it kind of comes up underneath you. And look what happens there, is it comes really close to your body at that point. And what you're doing there is all the water within the kind of 5 or 6 inches of your body is moving. It's moving with you. It's already being pulled along with you. So that's why your hands need to come in deep and they're getting hold of still water. You get more grip almost on the water there. And because your hand's coming right underneath, it's pulling through really close to the body. It should be, if you were to look head on, if you got your head on, look at your head on. Sure I did, to be honest. So if you were to look head on, in fact we can see it on here. See, that's how deep you should be pulling through. So you should have 100 to 120 degrees bend in the elbow, and it should be pulling through kind of underneath the shoulder line. That kind of depth. See that?
Yeah.
The hand is below the shoulder.
Yeah.
Because this is all still water. What you're doing is you're pulling through much closer.
Yeah.
You're coming up and you're pulling through underneath the body here. But I think if we alter your angle as you're entering the water, that will completely change that, because you'll be coming at it from a different approach. So you've got to set up the catch right, and that will alter the catch itself almost without doing anything to the catch, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
I kind of,
yeah.
I feel like it's a bit, because I'm not used to doing it this way around. I feel like it's all
a
bit clunky, but nothing else really that I'm concerned about. I think you'll move really well, so your body position is good, your heels are on the surface there, look. Your body alignment looks good, it's just the front end. Just the front end, which you should have sorted out. How old are you?
24.
24? You should have sorted out 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I see these things as really exciting, because this is quite a simple fix. It's quite a simple fix, this one. So what we're going to do with you then is we're going to get you to swim up and down the black line. Let's try and get you breathing over both sides, but don't worry about that too much.
Okay.
Breathe on both sides. You're going to breathe up and swim up and down the black line with your nose above the black line. Just normal full stroke. And all you're going to do is you're going to try and exaggerate the rotation on both sides, rotating through the hips and the shoulders, and just get used to just having a little bit more of a uniform rotation to your stroke. So you should be conscious that you're maybe rotating more to the favoured breathing side than the other side. Just try and think about it when you're swimming, and just try and balance. Think about how far you go on the breathing side.
Yeah.
Just try and balance it up on the other side. That's all I want you to do at first. It's quite simple.
Okay.
All right. And then what I'm going to get you to do along with that is just relax the chest and the arms and just let them open up. And you want to think about your stroke more in terms of your power is going to come from, not from your arms pulling you through the water. Your power is going to come from your body roll. So think of it like a boxer throwing a punch, or a discus thrower.
Yeah.
You know, they spin their body, and their power doesn't come from their arms, discus thrower. It comes from their rotation.
Yeah.
And their arms are straight because the fastest point is at the farthest point. Their elbow is going slower than their hands.
Yeah.
So they spin around like this, and that's ultimately what I'm getting you to do, is to use your rotation to drive those hands in with power.
Yeah.
So in, catch, rather than trying to pull yourself through the water with your hands.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's much more how you naturally should swim.
Okay.
You can see it in the way that you move, and also your build as well, and your height. You're going to find it much more comfortable swimming that way.
Yeah.
So just straighten the arms out. Get used to doing that. It'll take a bit of getting used to, and then I'm going to get you to make sure that you're spearing in those hands to the right kind of depth to start the catch. So that's the three things we'll start with.
Okay.
So rotation, just opening the arms up a little bit more, just relaxing the recovery, have a kind of wider, straighter recovery.
Yeah.
More like the clip I showed you, this girl here. Just swinging around the outside more. But spearing in, and then spearing in to 12 inches deep rather than coming up.
Yeah.
It's going to feel quite different to you.
Yeah.
It's going to feel quite different, but I think you think you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? What would be good for you once you go away from here would be to swim something like a 400 time trial.
Yeah.
Before you do all this practicing. Because obviously the idea is to try and improve and see if you can get quicker. And I think that'll be your opening benchmark for you to see where you are now.
Yeah.
And then do all the practicing I'll ask you to do, tell you to do, and then retest every month or so.
Yeah.
And just see how much progress you're making. And I think you'll be much quicker, quite quickly as well.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So with me on all that?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. Should we get you in then and do some actual swimming? So let me just stop this.